Okay, so we're learning about sewing, and we have our basic materials here, which would be thread, a needle, our materials. I don't have it here, but we are going to make these little pillows, so there'll be some stuffing for our pillows too. We're going to learn how to sew on a button, including the shank, which gives it its like wiggle, you know, and room for the fabric. We're going to do a whip stitch, and we're going to do a back stitch. So the very first thing that everybody's going to need to do is to thread a needle. And as we learned on the video, when we thread a needle, we put the needle hole, the eye of the needle, over the string, not the string through there. And for our purposes, I like for you to, this is a little long, I like for you to double it up because then your needle won't fall off. And then we tie a knot at the bottom. And the way we tie the knot is to wrap it around our finger, and then we kind of wiggle it a little, or roll it back and forth till it gets kind of knotty, and then we pull it, and there's our knot. Okay, so we don't tie a knot up here at the end by the needle, but people always want to do that because they don't want their needle to fall off. But this will give you what you need, and your needle will not fall off. Okay, so now I've selected 2 buttons already, and I'm going to start off with the 4-hole button, and I'm going to go through the back. If you needed to make a little mark to help you know where to put it, you could. And I go from the back to the front because I want my needle to be, or I want my knot to be on the back side, right? And I'm going to put my button here. So a very common mistake is that people do not pull all the way through. Make sure that every time you make a stitch, you're pulling it taut. So I'm going to go a few times one way, then the other way. So in the video, she calls this dolphining, right? Now, I don't really need to look, but you can look. Back to front. Pulling it tight every time. Did anybody watch the button video?
Yeah.
How many times did she go through?
4. 3 or 4.
We're going to do it 3 because also our thread is doubled up, which makes it extra strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sewing is practical because when you need a repair, you can do it yourself. And also sewing is fun. Now I'm going to go the other way. Now, I've given myself enough thread here where I'm going to be able to do everything I need to do and still have enough thread to tie the knot, because a lot of times people don't leave themselves enough thread to tie the knot. Okay, so now I'm going to go up through the back, but I'm going to go in between the fabric and my button, and to create the shank, I'm going to go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times tight. Then I'm going to go back through, and this is how I make my knot. I just catch a little bit of the fabric. Okay. And then I'm going to go through this once. Whoops. Through this twice. Okay. Then even though I could just go right over to the next spot, I'm not going to. I'll cut my thread. This is kind of a lot of thread left, so I could do my other button with this. I'm tying my knot. I'm going to do the other button poorly. Okay, so you can see what not to do. This one only has 2. So, what am I doing wrong right now? Front to back. We don't want that, right? How about this? Do-do-do. Sewing, sewing. Hey!
No.
Why? What did I do wrong?
You went through the top. You went through the top first.
I went around, right? So, I'm just going to, if I made this mistake, you can just cut off your knot,
Make a new one.
pull it out, and make a new one. Okay? People, all of the time, people want to keep going and going and going, and then there's like this much left. And then they say, Mrs. Bertner, I don't have enough thread here to tie my knot. first, just try not to make that happen. You know, recognize that you're going to need more thread, right? But if that does happen, you can cut off your needle and just kind of tie a knot right there. So I think this is a good place to stop for today. And then tomorrow we'll talk about making this guy's smile and stuffing our pillows.